I'm the scat man. I'm the scat man.
Monday, Game 3. Welcome to Covers' Puck Props, presented by Sports Interaction, joined by David Bastl here Monday. Welcome to the pumpers there in the chat. Looking at my internet bar. Don't love it. There it goes. It goes from 1 to 2 bars. That was scary. Mikey Glove Saves. Good morning to you. Adam, Nick, Perez. That's just assuming your name's Nick. I say that every time. David. We're Monday. The summer's here. The weather's getting beautiful. Yeah. I actually have Mondays off now. So I know. But this
working on your day off, hey? I love it.
Hey. Commitments. Spending time with you. You should. I should be paying you for my time I get to spend with you. Stop it.
Yeah. Game 3. I'm looking forward to it. What an awesome series so far, eh? 2 overtimes, lots of goals, lots of period overs to start the. I mean, it's been great. I love it. Give me 9 games of this, not just 7. Best of 9. And
does it stop today, Dave? Can you really be like? Can you really just be taking shots of tequila at the bar the entirety of the night? Like that's what I'm elating to this series is, right? Like it's not just all right, let's start with a light beer and move in and see how we're going to, like, just banging on the boards, asking for shots. That's it. But can you keep up this pace, especially when you're traveling across the world? And I want to get to another thing on that. Do we see a slower game? And Andy Francis has mentioned this, one of my favorite creators. The ice conditions going to Florida, 40-degree temps, 70-degree humidity. We're playing hockey in June. There's a big difference between Edmonton and Florida just for ice surface, no?
Yeah, there is. And you know what? As long as I've been alive, I've always known as Edmonton of having maybe the best ice conditions in the world. Like their ice makers travel to other destinations to create ice because of how renowned they are. When the Olympics come, they're higher. It's just certain things. Yeah, you know what? There's got to be a little bit of ice conditions, but for the most part, I don't think it's going to be too much of a difference. Like these are high octane, high chance, excellent scoring opportunity. I mean, the reason why we're seeing so many goals here is because there's been like 20, 5 Bell saves and 5 Bell opportunities for both teams. I mean, they're both goaltenders have played very, very well. It's not a knock on them at all, but guess what? When you're giving up that many, opportunities of that quality, they're gonna go in. It's just the way it is. I don't, maybe it takes a gear down, but I don't see this really going to we're gonna drag this out to a 2-1 win or a 3-2 win. Like I still would be pressing that 6+ goals in these games coming up in Florida.
All right, now the ice surface stuff is being brought up just because of 2 games. We're seeing coin flip games. We're going to overtime. When we see things that are this close, the things we try to draw on for even the slightest of edges are important.
Yep.
So, hockey, guys like McDavid, best edges in town, best skater in the world. Nobody gets up to speed in the playoffs except Connor McDavid, it seems, right?
Yep.
Even a little dip in ice is only going to hurt him and help Florida, no?
100%. Yeah. When you're putting a little bit of an ankle bracelet on a guy that's used to like 7th gear, then I mean, everybody else, like, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to affect your Brad Marchands of the world.
No. So, one guy. This affects one guy, and one guy who absolutely broke the ankles in less than a second. Sasha Barkov, which is not easy, and I think Aaron Ekblad lost an entire lower appendage in that dragon curl pass. Maybe the most high end play I've seen in a playoff game. 97's a man, but
brilliant. Brilliant. Totally
But there's
brilliant.
difference with home ice now. Now they can match up easily against him. It'll be interesting to see what Knobloch does for his lines. And
Yep.
that brings us to the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins thing. This was a
Yep.
team that was lacking depth, and that was the strength of Florida coming into the series. And now you could be out your second top six forward, your second.
That's big. Yeah.
It's massive. I mean, Jeff Skinner was earmarked in that spot for practice, but are they really going to go? They're going to bring fourth line Corey Perry up with McDavid? Are they going to bring not even dressed Jeff Skinner up with McDavid? Like, that is massive.
Well, you know what? I okay, if that's the case, and of course the Oilers aren't going to say anything till about 7:37 this evening
on the ice.
Yeah, exactly. So Corey Perry to move up to the first line. We've seen this chapter. We've seen it many times. We've seen it in the postseason where both of us have actually taken financial risk on a Corey Perry goal or point or something. I don't think that's much. I think it's the Skinner into the lineup on line 4 with his 8 to 10 minutes, whatever it works out. That might be the difference. I just wanted to touch on one thing before you talked about more of this stuff here. The Florida Hurricane series, late May, ice conditions off. They pumped 8 goals in again, in that Hurricanes game, in game number 4. I think it was game number 3. There were some other ones too that was like they've played in this. I know it's June the 10th, or I'm losing track of my dates here. I don't like the 2 days in between, by the way, but don't get me grumpy man talk right now. But I mean, they can score. They can score, and both teams can. But the Nugent Hopkins, I'm not convinced he's not playing until I see it with my own eyes. I'm not sure if this is shenanigans, figuring out, this is playoffs and everybody's day to day, and we'll see. I hope for the Oilers' sake that he is on the ice, because I want to see the best players at all times.
I don't. I want to win my Sam Bennett Conn Smythe for almost $5,000. That's what I want. I want my handoff. I want Ryan Nugent-Hopkins out. So if the other way goes, I can get my Draisaitl one. So that's a really big one, important, because those Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Leon Draisaitl are the 2 handoff favorites for Edmonton, and people just think Nuggie's going to get it just because he was there first. Yep. I don't believe so. Nope. But that's going to help there. And that's a slow movie market anyway. So keep an eye on that one.
Hand it to your best friend. You hand it to your
that's
best.
What you do. Hand it to your best friend and the best player that isn't you. Not a hard handicap. Press says Perry McDavid Draisaitl line doesn't have a lot of minutes, but has the highest expected goals of any line. Interesting point, but you got to see what they do with the lines, because the McDavid Draisaitl line splits up early, gets put together early, circa 3 years ago, Leafs, when they're trailing in the Sheldon Keefe era, putting them together.
Yeah.
On the road, it's more difficult for them. And with that lack of depth, you'll probably see them start on different lines and then come together late if they need it.
Exactly.
Yep. Outside of that, let's get to some of your plays here. As I drop them, look in the banners. Let's go. You're on Marchand for a point, -110. We can slap that one up. Just slap the whole ticker at the bottom. We don't need to slow reveal this. This isn't hey, click
and roll.
Yeah, just give it everything. Rodriguez for a point, +105. You're on the Bennett, Marchand, either anytime goal. That is -105 is incredible, because if you've looked since Game 7 of the Toronto series, those two have 12 goals.
Yes.
Combined. And only Barkov is the only other skater with more than 2. It's been a team affair, but it's those 2 guys. Separate lines, like it as well. I'll drop mine, and then you can go to court and fight for your picks there. Edmonton, last goal, 60 minutes. Even money. Seth Jones playing big minutes. I want him for a point at +140. And the last one, I wanted to talk about it in game 2 because he had 2 assists in game 1, but he was only playing like 15 minutes, excluding overtime. Nate Schmidt.
I know.
1 for an assist at +260. He had 2 in game 2. Again, that would have paid for a car if I bet the 2+. Go ahead. Easy runs for Marchand, Rodriguez, and the Bennett Marchand. So Heavy Florida stuff from you today here, Dave.
Yeah, heavy Florida stuff. I love the Nate Schmidt. Nate Schmidt's been playing very well. This is the Nate Schmidt I wish the Winnipeg Jets had the last couple of years before they cut him loose, because trust me, this is more Washington Capitals / Vegas Golden Knight Nate Schmidt than it was Winnipeg Jet Nate Schmidt, but that's another story. Okay, Brad Marchand, 4 points in his last 3 games. He knows the scene. He knows the party. This guy has turned everything up to 11 out of 10. This guy's all over the place. I'm not just talking goals. I'm talking just being so visible out there and playing some pretty serious minutes. This is the reason why the Florida Panthers brought a guy like this in. Quiet start of the postseason, not so quiet anymore. Evan Rodriguez, it's funny to even see this number because, or this guy on here and betting this, because as you remember, a couple of years ago, an unrestricted free agent because he was cut loose and nobody was offering him anything. He's gotten his opportunity. He's made the most of his opportunity. 13 points in 17 games, 3 points in his last 3 games. He's been very, very good throughout the lineup. Now, the big one here, either or, Marchand Bennett, 20 goals combined. Bennett leads the NHL in postseason scoring. Marchand is T6. The two of them have combined for 26.67% of Panther goals in the postseason.
There you go.
That's a whole quarter of what they do. That's how good they've been. You mentioned separate lines as well. I look at this and I see value in the either or option at Sports Interaction. And of course, that's an exclusive type of bet that we have on the site. 75 goals altogether, the Florida Panthers. These guys have tallied a quarter of them. And that's where I stand on that.
Looking at the chat there, anybody saying, are you guys off Barkov tonight? I've just never been on Barkov at his price, right? Like his price is like minus 200 for a point. You're not finding any value of that. And now how much of his ice time is consistent to keeping it on 97? And how much does that change now that they have home ice and Paul Maurice can actually get the matchup that he wants, which will probably be that line. We saw
that's the assignment, right?
Yeah. 100%. And we saw some changing within that. We saw Rodriguez get off that top line and move down to the second line with the Thumpers and Bennett and Tkachuk. And Verhaeghe back up to that top line. Maurice usually uses that card to try to motivate Verhaeghe. He's mentioned it before. Barkov is hit or miss. Right now he's missed, but there's a chance for them to win. Throughout the year, Barkov is hit or miss. Yes, thank you very much. My side.
Yes.
Edmonton last goal, 60 minutes. And I was on Visson last night talking about it, and it's always nice to have a second chance to talk about it. Because I'm not sitting there giving the speech, right? You write it down, you do it, and you're like, oh, okay, I could probably have done that one better. But it's one of those things where you're sitting, you already mentioned it, this 48 hours between games, so much time, and we know these markets well, and they're about as efficient as they get at this point of the year. You're like, where do I find that value? Edmonton has a better chance in my head. Edmonton has a better chance to score the last goal in regulation. Better than 50%. Because if they have the lead, they can get the empty net. Well, Florida can too. But Florida doesn't have that gear of being able to score that final goal in the last 30 seconds like Edmonton does. And as Edmonton has shown, when you have 97 and 29, your ability to score the last goal, whether it's to tie or whether it's to come back in within one, is massive. And with so much on the line, those guys are going to play the entirety of the 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes without the goalie in net. And if Knoblauch's good, he'll have a timeout and he'll use it. And he could push it to 3 minutes if they're down 2 goals. So I think there's a chance there that's better than 50%, which is being priced at maybe like 48% implied at the even money odds.
Yeah.
So that was a long-winded way of saying,
I was going to say, yeah.
Edmonton's going to win. Edmonton's not going to win. Edmonton's going to get that last goal, but there's a chance that they can do it and lose. Seth Jones, one of like 4 guys in this series, just playing absolutely huge minutes. Now it's hard to kind of cut back with all the overtime to see where it is, but shifts, minutes per shift, right up there with the big boys. And what they've done in Florida is interesting too, because PP1 has Ekblad and Jones, and PP2 has Schmidt and I think it's Miles Michaelis. Like, I think it's
Mhm.
well, Miles Michaelis. The pitchers, the
Well,
St. Louis Cardinals pitcher.
it's the Greek guy, yeah.
Yeah, the Greek guy. Yeah, spent some
Well,
time in Japan. He's back.
isn't it Forsling doesn't play on the second PP? I'm trying to remember because I know at times he has, but yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make another play out of Forsling anytime assist.
Oh, geez.
Because I've went to that well about 17 times, Josh.
I know.
Hasn't been a good well.
It's a tough well. The well's dry. The well's dry. But the Nate Schmidt thing is big too, because I think you're like, okay, you're buying a line on a guy who's got 2 assists in back-to-back games. He's probably not going to get another one, especially when he's getting the least amount of minutes for all Florida Blue Liners. But there's one thing that I like in this game that could increase his time on ice, and that's that the big dogs have had to play huge minutes. I mean, we're June 9th right now. If there's a game to give him a few more minutes in this spot, it's not like he doesn't know how to play. He's been everywhere. Yeah. I mean, I think he's the Stanley Cup handoff betting favorite for some reason.
Yeah, it's the old timer, right? So I know. That sense, yeah.
I wrote in my script here, he pinches more, and then I'm like, oh, what? I think I wrote he pinches more than like a 12-year-old sister on his brother. And I thought if I had more time, I could write a better joke than that.
Yeah.
But that's what I came up with. But if you watch him, he's the one who's always the most aggressive blue liner to come in on that half wall and absolutely slow down that puck exit and keep the puck in. That's what I've loved about him. Plus 270-ish. I think he pied to plus 250, 21 minutes. So I'll try to look at the 5-on-4 time. Last game was tricky because the big boys had huge minutes compared to the other guys. Yeah, Schmidt and Nico Mikkola. Yeah, Miles got the boot for that game.
Yep.
So those are my guys. I did want to hit the under 6.5. 4 forwards. Yeah, Verhaeghe, Rodriguez, Bennett, Marchand, and Schmidt. There's Francis. Okay, there's the Schmidt anyway. The numbers are really skewed in game 2 from game 1. Does Edmonton mixing up blue line mean anything? There's a good point. Did you see the transition? They're moving Darnell Nurse with Evan Bouchard at 5-on-5 and putting the Viking down at the second line with, I believe it's Klingberg.
Mm-hmm.
Does that do anything when you put Nurse and Bouchard together?
You know what? It's a defensive liability.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting ready to be scored upon, if you're not careful, because you kind of have 5 forwards on the ice in a sense. You know what? I've always been a big Ekholm guy. I like the ability to go on offense, but really close hard on defense. Like for my money, I know Evan Bouchard will take the sexiness of scoring and the boom shot, and everybody knows that. But Ekholm is, in my opinion, the Oilers' best defenseman. I don't think it's even close, to tell you the honest truth. That's how good this guy is. This guy is a horse minutes guy. They missed him dearly earlier on in the postseason, and I can't say enough with it. I saw this guy constantly in the Central Division when he was a member of the Nashville Predators. Very, very good. Like very underrated when he was playing with a guy like Roman Josi, but that's another story.
To be number 2, right? Didn't have to be number 1.
Bingo.
John says hi from Montreal. Well, bonjour there, John. Look at
hey,
that.
John, how's it going, man?
How's your French?
Un peu. Yeah, not very good. Very little.
Un peu? I've never.
Yeah, very little. I know a little. Oh, okay.
Nice. Nothing better than having one drink in you and thinking you know another language.
Oh no. Yeah. If anything, it's Greek for me with the wife and her family. So I get mistaken for that once in a while too. So don't know shit about that either.
Biggest mistake of that province was allowing 18-year-old Ontario kids to go to breakaway tours in like Quebec City growing up. Like, hey, just get on a bus with 30 other 18-year-olds to go to old Quebec City.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. Remember, like, it's like you could like smoke in Swiss Chalet and just like, yeah. Right. Oh,
same. Now I wasn't 18 at the time, but I saw plenty of them. when I lived in Ottawa and I covered the Senators, Gatineau was a stone's throw away. And as soon as the bars were closed in Ottawa, away we go. We're
Oh,
going to
wow.
Gatineau. So.
John says, my French is good. Oh, Italy, French. Jeez, look at you. 3 languages. Good for you.
There you go. Yeah, that's 3 more than me.
My Chinese is better than my French.
There
I know you wouldn't know, but yeah, it's funny how that works. But outside of that, I know lots of people want to get on the under. I don't mind it, but you mentioned that Bob's look good, Skinner's look good. They've let in some shit goals, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
Bob's had some bad angle goals. I know it's high volume. I know it's really hard to try to figure out because of those extra 3 periods that they've had to play, basically another full game over that depth. But there's been some leaky goals.
There has, but when I look at, what was it, almost 40 shots in one game. There was have there been leaky goals? Yes. Has there been opportunities for more goals to be scored, but goaltending has come up? Yeah, absolutely it has. I'm personally shocked that Stu Skinner is still playing as well as he is. Because I thought the balloon was going to let a little bit of air out, and Stu Skinner was going to figure out that he's Stuart Skinner, and that might be the only weakness I look at on the Edmonton side to see if they can outscore their defensive problems. But it really hasn't been the case. Like the guy's been very good. But yes, I agree. There's been some Fred Anderson-like goals let in on both teams throughout these first 2 games,
and you're seeing that Bennett Kachuk line get to the net and have success with getting to the net, let's just say.
Yep.
I think Liam McHugh was on TSN this morning, referred to Sam Bennett as Mr. Accidentally on Purpose. And
yeah, that's fair.
They also said he would get $10 million, which is insane.
That's you're going to have buyer's remorse in the middle of December if you're the team that signs that guy.
Matthew Nyes at 8 or Sam Bennett for 10. Where are you?
Matthew Nyes at 8.
Always.
Yeah. Always. Yes. Matthew Nyes is going to be, I'm not going to say he's going to be the best Maple Leaf in a couple of years, but he's going to be the Maple Leaf that this country's fan base will sit there and say, we love this guy because he does everything. Like I'm not like he represents
the brand a lot more though, right? He's not as soft. He doesn't skate past pucks in the corner. He doesn't say dumb things in the media.
Yeah, it's like Austin Matthews 70 goals or 69 goals is fantastic. I don't think we'll see that again, but and that's nice and everything, but the disappearance act throughout the postseasons, I like great player, yes, but Matthew Nyes is going to be one of those, or appears to be on the right path of one of those where the way we kind of look at Doug Gilmour right now, yes, and we remember this guy hitting people, and and Matthew Nyes, trust me, I've seen the two of them at functions. Matthew Nyes is like 3 feet taller than Doug Gilmour. Like Doug Gilmour's my height. and Doug Gilmour still had like the pit bull mentality, and I love Doug Gilmour. I have nothing but praise for that type of individual, but Matthew Nyes actually has the size that could command that. Like he's a dude, man. Like he has
a Mike Tyson neck.
Yeah, seriously. Like this is they're going to sign him. I don't think you have to worry about it. But I mean, this is a guy that you have to lock up long term, and this is going to be the guy.
I was wearing my Matthew Nyes jersey on the beaches of Albania.
I saw it. I saw it hanging. I
didn't run into any others.
I was going to say, when I do that sort of thing, because I do that with my Jet stuff. Do you ever have did anybody come up to you and go Maple Leafs, Toronto, Canada, anything like that, or?
No, I think the first person who came up to me might have been Andrew Brennan. He goes, "Oh, I see you brought your toilet paper."
Hey-o.
Hey-o. Yeah. Now get out of the sun. Maybe the last thing I wanted to touch on is Florida's inability to kind of close out games, right? Do you think it's, as the series goes longer, and I don't think Kachuk's as healthy as he could be. We're seeing
Yeah.
Barkov kind of not be as productive. Maybe that's on the defensive liability of things. Seeing a lot of those guys who did the Four Nations kind of start to wear down. Everybody except Sam Bennett, weirdly. Is that an issue? Are we hitting that wall of the Florida dynasty where we saw it with Tampa Bay, where it's just like, this one's going to be the end of it because you can only play that many games and play that kind of hockey for so long? And
they have played that long, Josh. I mean, their summers are 6 weeks. That's you know what I mean? Like it's been ridiculous. I think there's a little bit of concern with the third period, especially considering what they have done in the past. I'm not willing to write it off just yet. I think this team is going to return a similar type of team moving forward. But yeah, is there mileage on the tires? Absolutely. Do they look better than what they truly appear inside? Probably. And it's because of style as well, right? I mean, you wear and tear and just like Paul Marie says in those commercials, we hammer those defensemen. And so in the seventh game, and guess what? They've done that the last 3 postseasons, which over the course of time is an extra 6 to 7 months of a season over those 3 years. I mean, it's incredible tread. We'll see. I think this might be a bit different Florida team at home. It's not like they played poor in Edmonton, but final change and line matchups going to be key considering who you're zeroing in on, no matter how tough of an assignment that is.
Quick chat rundown. Josh, a shirt in the pool guy, ? Answer is no. I'm 42 years old. I am comfortable with this body. Jumping in there with young kids who have better workout regimes than me. That's fine. I actually got complimented on my button game. Someone came up to me and said, I like your button game. I'm like, what's that? I looked out. I had like 6 buttons undone at 11 o'clock. You're like, yeah, that guy's comfortable. That's the button game is good. Divis Druid brings up a good point. How is Florida unable to close out games there in the finals? I get it. The way I worded it, it should maybe be added that it's Edmonton too.
Correct.
Having to close out against Edmonton. I've watched Florida close out against Carolina. I watched them close out my Leafs. They keep scoring, right? They turned a 5-1 into 6-1 and send your teams packing. But it's different versus Edmonton. And you look at the end of the periods, Florida looks absolutely gassed. Someone says Florida has played the most NHL games in the history of the NHL through 3 seasons. That is
wow. I can't confirm that, but it kind of makes sense to me. And some of those players have played even extra played games when they haven't been scheduled. And when you have the Four Nations, right? There's a lot of Florida Panthers that were part of that. So,
all right. So, game 3 tonight.
Yep.
Markets are kind of running low on the Conn Smythe stuff. I think if you still want to run and get Bennett or Marchand, you can, but those are the only angles right now. Outside of that, it'd be interesting to see how the books adjust Connor McDavid because he's plus 105. And I'll tell you what, Connor McDavid is not getting a participation award trophy again this year. If Edmonton loses, he will not get the Conn Smythe. That's not a good look for the NHL. So I'll be interested to see how much the books have to adjust the betting favorite for the Conn Smythe if Florida goes up 2-1 in the series, and we should see a betting favorite on the Florida side. Handoff is there. See if it's adjusted if RNH is out. On the other side, the draft is coming up. Absolutely one of the more exciting ones. There's lots of information to come out, and those lines move significantly. Schaefer's going to go number 1. That's where that's going to go. And team odds, like the Marner odds one is next team Marner odds is a really fun market to look at because like even San Jose down there at the bottom of that is in play. Why Chicago is a betting favorite, Dave?
Yeah.
I don't go. I don't care. But I think the Marner camp wants Marner to get as much money as possible. And I think Mitch Marner's the kind of guy that wants that too.
Yeah. And it's I think I think if it's not Toronto, it's a non-Canadian city. I think that's part of your, when you run down what you like, what you don't like. I think that's part of it. Going back to the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins handoff. Let's just say Oilers win the Stanley Cup and this guy is more hurt than what we think. He's still going to be on the ice in civvies.
You don't hand off to a guy who's not wearing a uniform.
I'm just throwing it out there. He will be. I'm just saying.
That's
was a first overall pick when the Oilers used to wear those different shade of copper and navy blue, and he's seen it all. And
yuck. That's a yuck. Rodriguez, Kachuk stack, or Marchand Lundell. I like the Marchand Lundell, but I also like the Rodriguez Bennett more than Kachuk. I think Kachuk's price is still wildly inflated. I can get Rodriguez and Bennett, who are an actual line 2, PP2 correlated stack, plus 175-ish. I think that's where it is. But just because the NHL is running down, there's still lots of markets. Lots of trade markets are fun because let's not give away the secret sauce, Dave, but hockey doesn't have as much liquidity as all those other sports. Therefore, the markets don't move as quick. So you can get to information a little quicker, no?
No, this is true. And Yahtzee, no Rodriguez assist today. No, but we're saying Rodriguez point at plus 105.
Yeah, I do like the assist, though. That's in there. 1-9 since game 7 of that Leafs series. Let's call it a wrap. Let's enjoy our afternoon here. Let's go get some iced coffees, Dave. Try to get through the afternoon. It's warm. It's nice.
It is.
We got game 3 coming on. Puck drop will probably be at 8:20-ish. Let's see if we can't wrap things up in 60 minutes so we don't have to be up till 1 o'clock in the morning watching tired hockey players. I'm sure the players don't want to go late, but let's wrap it up. NHL prop picks presented by Sports Interaction. Sports Interaction has you covered for all these picks. Download the app. Josh Ingles, David Bastl covers. See you. Now I'm like, I wish I could segue, but I never know when the next game is. I think it's Thursday, right? Like
that is it Thursday or Friday?
It's Thursday. Yeah. They don't even have to travel and they have an extra day off.
Why, Josh? Tell me why. Is there a Taylor Swift concert I don't know about? Or
no, maybe the league just doesn't want to have a Saturday night hockey game.
It's true. It is Thursday, and then they will have a Saturday night game because game 5, my friend, is in Edmonton on Saturday night.
All right. And the only thing I ask from the Goon Squad in the chat, hit that like button on the way out, subscribe, comment, do those things. That's the currency exchange here. We'll see you back here Thursday for game 4. Toodaloo.